Hello, my name is Abel Taye. I am a regional field coordinator with Christians United for Israel, and the states I cover include Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, Arizona, Colorado, and Minnesota. And in this topic, we'll be discussing Lesson 8. Lesson 8 says Encountering Palestine. In this chapter, we'll be discussing the major objectives of the chapter, which is to see Palestine in the context of the Ottoman Empire, the relationship between World War I, the Zionism, and also the Balfour Declaration. Also, we'll look at how the British mandate for the Palestine evolved. And the first one I would like to look at would be the Balfour Declaration, its origin, its meaning, its impact in the context of the Jewish people. Also, we will look at the Christian Zionism and the Christian activism that Christians got involved in the past to that point. And we'll also counter those misinformation about the Jewish people. One of them is the Jewish people owned the land. The Jewish people are the rightful owners of the land. The counter argument other people have is they took the land from others. But when you see the historical and archaeological evidences, also the biblical evidences that are given, you will see how the Jewish people has always been in the land and their presence has a significant impact. Now, with this part, I want to emphasize one area, and one area which is the Jewish people have been the occupiers of that land. That has been said so many times, but that's not true. They are the rightful owners of the land. In fact, the Jewish people, when God gave them the promise, that promise involves a land. He gave promise to Abraham, and Abraham received that promise, as we know in the Bible, and that promise also has an everlasting covenant. That covenant was not given in a vacuum. It was given in a context of land. So the land belongs to the Jewish people. The land now is the land of Israel. The land is for God's chosen people and given to them by God. And that biblical mandate and that biblical understanding we Christians need to have. And it's very, very important for our discussion. I want to also address some of the archaeological findings and names that we still use in the land. It traces back and also proves that the Jewish people has been there, the Jewish presence has been there, the Jewish communities has been there for many, many decades and also centuries. Now, I want to talk about a little bit about the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire was the most powerful empire in world history. They were very powerful. They controlled trade, they control immigration, they control the culture and the politics of the day. They were so influential, especially in the 15th and 16th century. The Ottoman Empire expanded and won many victories over their counterparts. And in history, we also saw the Ottoman Empire conquered Egypt, Syria, Arabia, and Palestine. So the Ottoman Empire in the Middle East were the giant of their time. They control most of the politics of the day. We also know the Ottoman Empire after World War I, great powers like Great Britain and France divided the Ottoman Empire. And there is no connection we will see the Palestinians have at that moment. But I'm going to go to the British mandate. The British mandate, which is very, very important in our discussion today. I will say the peace treaties that ended World War I, the principle that was implemented has a significant meaning to what's going on. Now, the League of Nations, we look at the British and the French, their involvement is significant. One thing I want to say, even at that time, that area was predominantly Arab, yes, but there are significant numbers of Jewish people and Christians living in the place. In fact, the Jewish people had their own farms and their own new towns and communities and new cities they were building at that time. So the other thing I want to focus on is the Balfour Declaration. The Balfour Declaration is a significant historical, diplomatic, and political document that basically gives the Jewish people a big opportunity to have a land of their own and a nation of their own. The Balfour Declaration was designed by the British Secretary of State, Foreign Minister of Great Britain, Arthur Balfour, and in his words, he wrote the following: His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine and the rights and political status enjoyed by the Jews in any other country. This was a moment. Now, I want you just for a moment to think about being part of the Jewish community at a time when the greatest military, diplomatic, cultural, and force of nature at that time stand with you saying the Jewish people deserve a land. That is a moment in history that changed the trajectory of the Jewish people as well as the establishment of the Jewish nation. So, in conclusion, I would say this: the Jewish people has always been in the land. The Jewish people are not the occupiers of the land. The Jewish people have been given the land. The Jewish people have found the land, and they are now established in a nation of their own. So that promise God gave to Abraham, it has a covenant. The covenant is everlasting, and also that everlasting covenant manifested itself in a form of a nation, and that is a significant moment in the Jewish history. So the Balfour Declaration, when you see it, it's a monumental document that says the greatest power in the world at the time, Great Britain, stood with the Jewish people and says they deserve their own land. I will bring it to us today. Yes, you can tell me the Jewish people have their own land. Yes, you can tell me the Jewish people have their own future. They can charter their own future. They can live. They can produce. They can be prosperous. They can thrive. They can make things happen. They don't just bless their communities, but they bless others. But that nation is also under so much stress, so much attack, so much things thrown at them from all angles, from Hamas, from Hezbollah, from the Islamic Republic of Iran, and from other terrorist organizations that change their names, but their goal is to eliminate the Jewish people. That's why the greatest power in the military, the greatest military power in the world, the greatest economic power, the greatest technological power, the greatest cultural force of our time, the United States of America, should stand with the Jewish people in the nation of Israel. That's why we Christians have this biblical mandate, this historical mandate, as well as the practical opportunity and the moral responsibility to stand with the Jewish people. Thank you.